Okay. And hear me would be the other big question on this one. Cool. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and get started. We are going to start, well, a little bit on the framework for what we're doing here. This is obviously a total experiment on my part. So well, hopefully this is useful for everybody. And so I'm going to go through. I'm going to be using double sticks for visibility, but if you have, you lack of space or anything like that, then, if you want to use a knife, that's fine too. With this format, obviously, I can't see you. I'm going to give you a couple options for sort of patterns as we're doing the warm-up. I'm going to give you, I know with some of my students, I have fairly new students and some are fairly advanced. And I'm going to give you a couple different options as we're going through the warm-up for complexity. If something is too complex, stick with the more basic format as we're going through this. We're going to obviously, with no partners here, I do have a 3-year-old and a 7-year-old, which I'm guessing are already going to be a bit of a problem. So we'll see how this all works out. If you have any questions, I'll be intermittently checking back over here on the screen. There is a latency on this video to try to improve the quality on it. So with that, and I'm going to be stepping back from the screen a fair bit, so I'm not going to see it immediately, but I'll check in every once in a while to sort of get contact with you and if you have any questions. So we're going to go through a warm-up, just sort of physically moving, warming up, using basic combinations and patterns. We'll go into a couple fighting applications, which are obviously difficult to practice without a partner here. And then we're going to go into some sort of a question and answer if there's anything in particular you wanted to address at the end. So I'm thinking this goes about an hour. So we'll see how it goes. Okay. And again, I'll check in every couple minutes. So grab 2 weapons and we'll get started. Hey, can you turn that down a little bit?
That's too loud.
It's too loud? Yes, you should turn it down then, huh? Okay, can you close the door?
What's this?
Okay. Literally questions from the peanut gallery. Okay, to start off with, I'm going to use double weapons here. I don't know if you can see this. I'm using reverse triangle footwork on the floor. This isn't the greatest visibility on the floor. Can kind of see it. I'm going to start off with, basic salutation. So I'm going to use a really simplified salutation if you're not in Bikini. So basically right hand up to the heart, and then a salutation out here. Salute, Tuhan. And that's a respect actually to Grand Tuhan the Ogahe, the owner of the system. So we're gonna go ahead and start off with, we're gonna step out to the left, inward number 1, backhand, coming back up, left, same thing. Number 1 and 2, make sure that you're getting your hip stance, turn for your power generation and back. Here, I'm gonna move up a little bit, ignore the feet right now. You can get a little bit more, you see that a little bit more of the mechanics. So stepping right, 1 and 2, and 1 and 2, and I'm going to move the screen up. That's a little bit better. Looks like this is going to be a little bit more upper body, but okay. Okay, so I step left, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. 2, 1, 2. Just your basic fluid, 1 and 2, good chamber between each position. Here, now, again, if this is your first time or first month of classes, stick with that. The next combination is just to follow right along, 1, 2, and now we're just going to bring the other hand in And again, then we're going to restart. 1, 2, and then 2 in terms of repeat. 1, 2, 2. Now that next piece is 1, and your backhand and forehand should be on one twist of the hips as you're striking that way. One twist of the hips to bring you back. One twist of the hips. One twist of the hips. Okay, when I'm doing my basics this way, I want to make sure that I'm making an X and I'm crossing at the bridge of the nose. You'll basically see these fundamentals all the way through. The angle on the camera may not be great on this one, but I don't want to be crossing low, and I don't want to necessarily be crossing high. Later, there'll be some applications where you both go high and low on that basic X, but your fundamental on this should be always with an X through the bridge of the nose. Okay, so that's your basic 1, 2, and 1, 2 with the left and right. So then the next one, I'm going to use a lateral footwork. And I know you can't see that very well, but now this footwork is going to be going off to the sides here, left and right. Okay, so on this one, I want to go 1 here, and then I want to go 4 coming back. 1 and 4. 1 and 4. 1, and again, I'm going to emphasize that hip twist, that drive, and I'm cutting towards the front and back, and front and back. This basic, if you're used to the Piketty University, typically Duan Jared will show this. Often his footwork will be hips square to the front. You're going to see me emphasize something a little bit different here, where I'm going to be doing a lot of hip turn, really emphasizing that power generation. It's not that it's wrong, it's just different in terms of the way I usually teach that basic or that fundamental. But I really want to emphasize that turn and that shift as I move that way. The other thing is when I shift here, I want to get this long angle on my upper body here to move out of the way. So I want to go 1, 2, 1, 2. Now add the 1 here, 4. 1, 4. 1, 4. 1, 4. Here. Good. So looks like I got a question coming in. You stepped a little more into the room. Okay, good suggestion. Lupus 247. I'll try that. Let me know if this is too far back so you can see what I'm doing, because it feels like my head is like in half the screen here. Let's try. Now, just where this thing's about to fall over. Let's try that. 1, 2. Okay, good. So, going to change up. We're going to still use that lateral footwork right now, except when I step now, I'm going to be loaded on the shoulder load here. So now this version is 2, 1. So we're going to hit the side step footwork. Here is I'm going to turn. Right? So this is our 90-degree side step. I'm going to center and turn. Important thing on this is what I don't want to do is step out and pivot where both heels pivot when I step down. I want to step and pull. Come back, step and pull. At no point am I twisting on the balls of my foot on a weighted foot. I put lateral torsion on the knees, and I like my knees. So I'm going to step and pull, center, step and pull. Okay, the reason we call it 90, right? My hips are turning halfway through there. Okay, so from there, I'm going to go into the weapon use of it. We're going to be a double shoulder load. Okay, so now I'm going to step to the left, and I'm going to go 2, 1. Okay, here, and I'm going to switch to this side, 2, 1. Okay, and switch, 2, 1, and switch here, 2, 1. If the double switching is kind of a pain, which it is, one thing that I'll often do with this one is 2, here, 1, switch, right? 2, 1, switch. 2, 1, switch. 2, 1, switch. 2, 1, switch. 2, 1, 2, 1. 2, 1, 2, 1. 2, 1, 2, 1. Okay, if you're comfortable with that and with hitting that side step, this is your basic contrada footwork, moving offline, moving the outside of the attack. If we add in the other weapon, and again, if you're not feeling super comfortable with that, just stay with that. No big deal. You don't have to jump into the double hands. Cool. Okay, double stick version of it. Really kind of the same thing. So I'm going to sidestep. I'm going sort of short with this one, and I'm hitting that same line with that one. And then coming back up here. Oh, and then I got to go here, 1. And then I'll come back up here. Backhand, forehand, here. And then I've got to hit 1. And come back here. So it's kind of a broken 1 at the end. Here, broken, and back here. I can think about this one here. All right, so fluid, fluid, broken, come back. Fluid, fluid, broken. Good. Okay, so that, again, that quick transition, 1, 2, and back again. So the next one, here, good. So the next one is we're going to use the reverse triangle, stepping back with the left. And this one I'm really going to emphasize turn, again, this won't be the wave in, wave out motion that stays straight with it. Let me put down the footwork. Gotta switch to the footwork. Okay, so up at the apex of the triangle, I'm stepping back here. And this one isn't, I'm not necessarily stepping back on this way, which you may have seen in some of our fundamentals. On this one, I'm literally turning, and it's like I'm taking off in a run over here. I'm still fighting to the guy in the front, and but right now we'll just look at the footwork. So I'm going to step off at the left. I'm going to land in that position. I'm going to turn and look back over my shoulder here. If you've done unarmed, you've done karate, this is where the back kick came in. This would be an unarmed application of this, of that footwork this way. But again, step back, look over here. I'm keeping these down just so you can see what's going on. And again, I'm not necessarily looking over there, though this is obviously a great way to run away from someone. I would just want to turn and still oriented back towards my opponent in the front. Okay, so if you've got that, we're going to drop the right stick down, step back on the left, come back 3 here, and then I'm going to come back 2. Okay, switch. 3, 2. Power generation, I'm turning away, driving with my hips, dragging my cut up, and coming back. Switch. 3, 2. 3, 2. 3, 2. In all of this footwork that we're working with, except in the very beginning, if this is sort of a very early class, then you can come together with your feet. For everybody else, one of the things that you want to do here is what we call, or one of the terms we use this for is coconut stepping, is that when I move around the triangle, I don't ever want to be feet together. This is a training point, that I move as I move. Okay, with natural fighting, these are transition points that I want to move through. I don't want to be light on my feet. So imagine that each point of a triangle or each intersection, there's a half a coconut, and you can only fit the ball of your foot on one piece of the top of the coconut. So when I'm moving through there, I have to replace on that position, right? So same thing here. I replace, I step away, I unweight, I come back, I replace, and I step away. And this will be pretty much always be true. I don't want to jump up and down here. I just want to replace as I move through. Can you figure out what's going on there? Okay, and again, 3. Now if you're used to that pattern, 3, 2, 1, as you come back in. 3, backhand, come back with the number 1 as well. 3, backhand, 3, 2, and this is a 1 off the other side. 3, 2, 1. 3, and again on that power generation, 1 hip twist generates power for both of these. 3, turn, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Yes, baby.
My teacher puts this well. I can't turn well.
Deacon, can you help him with whatever you did?
No, he's turning out louder than better.
You turned it louder?
No, I turned it smaller.
Okay, turn it louder. Thank you. Okay, good. So that is 3, 2, and return.
Going.
That number 1, more of a broken strike. It can be, right? So if you look at what I'm doing, I go 3, 2, 1. I can go all the way through with that. You're seeing me sort of shorten it just to get ready for that next position. If I was actually in application, it'd be like all the way through if I'm trying to generate power. Because I'm trying to be fluid here, 3, 2, hit, and then you're seeing me slide around and get ready for that next position. So I'm kind of cheating the drill a little bit there. Okay, good. So let's go into what we call a Harada step. So this one,
Up here.
so you'll see this called squaring footwork or Harada footwork. You get on the camera, please. Thank you. Okay. And if you can see that on the screen, so I'm going to step lateral and here. You'll see this a couple different ways. You'll see this here. That's usually gets called squaring footwork. Keegan. But this one is going to be a Harada. Okay. As we move back and forth here. This is reminds me very much of like Aikido, about a lot of these circle throws and stuff like that in terms of its basic footwork. I think Keegan or Thomas thinks I'm dancing or something. So, okay, so with that basic footwork, see if anybody has questions on that one. Cool. Okay. Are you helping me make a pentagram? I appreciate that. But actually, it comes down. Can you put those over there? I don't need these. Your ankle. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, okay. Okay. So with the Harada step, I'm going to defend myself against here with a 4. You got to hit me in the head, dude. Hit me in the head. Okay. Cool. Okay. Good. That's enough. Stop. Okay, so we're gonna step off with. You got me or something. Okay, I'm gonna step laterally here. So this is a 4, right? It's also an inside roof block or umbrella block. So 4, 1, Keegan. Okay, so we're gonna go 4, hit my Harada, 1, and that's my power generation for the 1. Okay, I'll drop my stick across, come back up here. Lateral, 1. Crossover. Okay. Inward roof, inward umbrella. 1 here. Crossover. Here. 1. If coordinating this on this basic, you can just do this with 1, right? So I can go roof, 1, come across. Roof, 1. Roof, 1, roof, 1, roof, 1, roof, 1, roof, 1, roof, 1,
Not that way,
roof, 1,
Yeah.
roof, 1.
Now
If you want to coordinate with 2 weapons, we go across, you're going to do a little bit of a gunting here, right? 1, and then you're going to actually come under it. And then roof, 1, here, roof, 1, cross, roof, 1. Thomas. Okay. Okay, and roof, 1, cross, roof, 1. Okay, if I just look at just the hands on that, right? Roof, 1, roof, 1, roof, 1, roof, 1. Again, just one-handed. Okay, so make that for whatever level you're kind of working at. Yeah, they haven't really trained, but they've sort of been in the studio, so they pretty good at fighting what they know. Oh my God, they've got the axes. Nothing bad could possibly happen in the next couple of minutes of some kid whacking each other with a plastic axe. Not ever. Okay. So if we're gonna add one more complication on that one, okay, so we're gonna go roof, 1, thrust. here, roof 1 thrust, or roof 1 thrust if I had the Harada step leg. Come back up, roof 1 thrust, right? Now the power generation for the thrust, I hit here, my hips are turned, I'm going to turn back into it with my long distance thrust. Come back in, roof 1 thrust. Up, roof 1 thrust. Okay, so that's our warm-up footwork. Yeah, okay, so that's our warm-up footwork and basic combination patterns. Okay, guys, other room. In there, do not hit the computer.
I don't want to get whacked.
Okay, so we're going to go into some, usually the way I run my class is each class I have a concept or sort of fighting technique that I want to work. And then, so we'll do a warm up and then we'll spend a lot of the class just sort of working that particular warm up. Are you well armed today? It looks like it. Can I have that white sword right there? Can I have that one? Thank you. Okay, I'm going to use a sword on this one just because it's more visible than the stick, and then we'll talk a little bit about edge alignment here. As you saw from a lot of the warm-up, you saw 3, 2, 4, 1, right? A lot of these concepts of returning on the opposite line that the cut is. So I want to work a little bit of that into sort of fighting technique as we go into application of some of those moves. So the first one that I want to work with is, and we'll go straight. Ooh, I skipped ducking footwork. We can't skip ducking footwork because your legs aren't vaporized enough. Okay, ducking footwork, and you'll miss something. Okay, this is going to be straight, okay? And so what is ducking footwork? If you don't know, ducking footwork is how you lower your upper body sort of out of the sight picture, okay? And I really emphasize an explosive drop all the way down to the ground and back up. So if I do this from the side here, I want to hit, and I hit the ground. The way this works is you make yourself, this isn't me doing a squat, okay? That's not the way this works is. The way it works is I make myself into a ball as fast as possible, and gravity takes the whole ball to the ground. That's active. I'm compressing my core to suck my feet and head together, and then gravity is taking the whole ball down together. My feet will come off the ground when I do this, but it's not because I'm jumping, right? That's because I'm making myself a ball faster than gravity is. So you may see my feet come off the ground. I'm not jumping. That's very, very much against ducking forward. I'm trying to get down as fast as possible. And there's, I can't push on anything above me. All I can do is make my head down as fast as possible. So what this looks like, and it's most visible from the side, is as I drop down, okay? And again, I'm not jumping. Here. The faster you make yourself a ball, the faster you'll drop. Okay, so that's the basic. We're going to do 10 of those. We'll just do 10 together. And then the other thing is once you hit the bottom, you've got to get back in the game. You can make yourself a great ball and get out of the picture, but if you can't get back up, you're screwed. Okay, so I want to be from the side, and I want to hit the bottom of that one. As soon as I hit the ground, I compress, and I come back out. If you got bad knees, this may not be the best footwork for you. I don't have great knees. I'm working on my MCL on my left leg, but this one, as long as I'm straight, I'm okay with it. Okay, so we're going to do 10 of these, and then we're going to do it in application. Okay, so usually feet up, feet shoulder width. I'm coming down. I'm not on the balls of my feet. I'm coming down on the heels as I make that ball. So here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, that's sort of medium speed ducking footwork. Now we're going to do it in application. So the application of the technique is jab, straight cut down. Okay, jab, and what I don't want to do is jab, and usually you see me do a mid-length jab here. It's because I'm not jabbing at the head, I'm actually jabbing at the weapon limb. Hi. You look very scary. You've seen Vikings way too many times. Okay, go there. Okay, so jabbing for the hand here, and then what I don't want to do is this big loop and cut. I want jab, and I want that tip to go down as fast as possible. Threaten the hand, basically smack the knee or the foot. Jab, drop. Okay, jab, drop. Jab, drop. Jab, drop. Okay, application here, jab, drop. Okay, smack the top of the foot, smack the top of the knee on that dropping shot. And again, I want to go straight down with that. That should describe an L, not a loop. Jab, drop, and out. Okay, if you're just working on that, work that slow. Jab, drop, here, and out with the outward movement. So jab, drop, out. Jab, drop, out. Jab, drop, out. Jab, drop, out. Let's do 10 of those, kind of actively trying to hit that leg and get back out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Center. 8, 9, 10. Whew, getting winded. Okay, other side. Jab, drop, out. Jab, drop. Oh, you got me. Out. Okay. Hey, pal. Can you go hit Bob over there really hard? Over there. Okay, now good. Jab and out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Okay. I always have to throw the ducking footwork in because they're kind of squats. So, good excuse, actively, yeah, I think they're squats. Okay, fighting application. Actually, quick break, grab some water, like 30 seconds if you haven't already, and I'll come right back. What you doing, pal? Oh, good job. He's going to be my fighter. Mostly just so he can beat up his older brothers. Okay, hope you guys are all back. Okay, fighting application of these returning lines. What time it is? 7 foot. Whoa, that went faster than I thought. Okay, so I'm going to use, for this one, I'm going to use a 2 and returning on the 3 line. Right, so 1, 2, 3. So we're using one side of the X here, coming back and forth on this line. So if I'm facing here and I strike, a lot of times I'm trying to pick to the outside of the person's hand, right? So they would be facing me this way, and I'm trying to bring a blow inside of it. Very much like we just did with that jabbing exercise and that dropping cut. Now I'm going to cut on top of the hand. And what commonly happens when you meet here, and especially if I throw it in the hand, I want their hand, I want to threaten it, and then I'm going to come back on that line, right? So this is hard without partners. Hey, Thomas, come here. Hold your, come on, over here. Okay, come on, stand right here. Okay, hold this like this. Hold it like that. Don't move it. Okay, can you do it? Okay, so I hit, and I'm going to come back on that line. If he hits this way, and it's dramatic, I want to come back this way. Okay, ready? Do that again. So, come back here. Okay, actually, no, come back here. Okay, now hit. Oh, yeah, I totally got you. Okay, good. Thank you, pal. That's nice. Go ahead, Bob. Or hit the back. Okay, so 3, 2. Okay, I either pick on this version where it's sort of a quick little lunging step in, 3, and then I reverse it. I either get the hand on this one, cut over, and turn on the hand trying to get inside the wrist. If you saw the video that I did with 2 coming this way and coming back with the thrust, it's kind of the same version of it, but this is a long weapon. So it's unusual to try to pick off the thrust that way, like I would with a knife. But this is 3, and I'm coming back and I'm using the long blade here. So 3, 2, it's the same idea. 3, 2. I can do this off the jab with this dropping shot, 3, 2, or sorry, 2, 3. Here, I come off the jab, 2, 3. 2, and again, as I back up my power generation, 3 as I come back in. Here, 2, 3. Here, I'm going to isolate this one, 2, 3. Oh, we got it. 2, 3. 2, oh, sneak attack. Oh, I got the walrus. Okay, 2, 3, 2, 3. Okay, 2, oh, see. Boom, right there. Gee, like you get it every time. Gotcha. Boom. Okay, that's enough. Stop. Go ahead, Bob. Okay. 2, 3. 2, 3. Simple technique, right? That one isn't super complicated. Ooh. Okay. So now, that's one fighting combination. The next one is the opposite of that. This one you guys have already seen, right? This is 1, 4, which comes right off of our basic tri-V striking pattern. Oh, actually, let me go back to 2, 3. The other version on 2, 3, besides the lunging footwork here is an advancing footwork. So now I'm going to hit lunge forward, hit the hand, and instead of passing over the hand and then coming back underneath it, especially if they retreat this way and I get an entrance on this one, I actually will come forward off the line and raising that shot up to the head. So, right, so it's going to come up here, 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. Oh, 2, 3. 2, 3. Woo! 2, 3. 2, 3. Oh. Okay. So that's the end of that one. So 2 different footworks on that one, on that version is lunge in and return, or lunge in and enter with the reverse triangle footwork. Okay, that's enough. Thompson. Watch the key. Okay. Okay, next one is 1-4. Again, you have this basic combination as part of the tri-V striking pattern. And the second one that we work of 1-4-2 as we come into this. So this one is kind of the same thing. You should generally already have this entry pattern for offline footwork 4 and 2, just like we did in the warm-up. This is pretty much the same concept, except now I'm going to go to the outside. And again, you have this in terms of the 1, and 4-1, which is the reverse of that, we also did as part of the warm-up, right? So all of these are taking this idea of disrupting that. So the same thing here. So instead of moving to the outside, I'm moving over here. Either the shot's coming inside on a right-handed number 1, or it's a number 2, right? And I'm actually taking the contrada line on the 2 as I come that way. So I take contact, I step away. Again, this is just the reverse of 4-1. This is 1-4 as I come back in on the inside there. So, or it comes on outside, I contrada it, and I enter in that way. So, stepping right, shot's coming this way. I pick it up this way. As it comes around for the 2, I either go for the arm that's on the angle coming back in, or if the line is coming this way, here, I'm going to contrada the line, deflect on the outside if I can. Ideally, I'd love to shift just on the outside and get deep into the head on that one if I can. That's certainly not always possible. So 1-4, and then that's now a rising cut to the inside. If I can get the contrada. Ideally, like a lot of our shots, I'd love to be able to pick the backhand on the hand as I come in here. Not always possible. Timing is often not there. Wrong technique. And that'd be dangerous coming in that way. So a lot of times I want to shift, and sometimes I'll actually go lateral on this shot, on that contrada, or on the number 1, where I'll go shift, take the shot this way, and try to enter flat into center line here, and then enter with that. So a couple of different ways of doing that one. If I use that idea of that line here and out. One of the other things that I've found on this line is a good Pikiti, strike has 90-degree principle. If you're fighting people who are used to sort of standard Pikiti slashings, a good cast can catch them off distance, both in distance, because you're striking further, and just the angle of attack. Because they're used to this kind of thing happening, and you do this, and all of a sudden it sort of changes the mechanic of the contact point on the stick. So that can be one thing that's different. So an example of that is they're coming in this way, right? And so if you're doing, normally you would meet this 1-4, but I can meet it this way, if that makes sense, where I can actually, especially with my offline footwork, I can get deeper into that target there. If you have a stick with no guard, that's a problem. And so you're depending a little bit more on a guard here, where you have something to protect the fingers on that one, because that one can be a little dangerous on that line where they can swing. Also depends on what angle they're swimming at with as well. So, okay, so basic application that way. We are running out of time. Are there any basic questions? This is a little bit weird because I can't really demonstrate on people, but are there any questions on sort of what we covered? Things to clear up? Right there.
I want to see.
Okay, yeah. Just waiting. See if anybody has any questions. Yeah. Show it from the side. Good idea. Okay, so if I was to do the 1-4, right? So angles here. Actually, come on. Grab one spot. Okay, come on. So just hold this like this. Okay. Hey, out of the way, Thomas. So we're just gonna hold this here. That's the shot coming into here. Okay. I can meet this here, right? If I just stand in place, I meet this, I'm safe behind it. Now, if I get my offline footwork, I can actually mechanically go deeper on this, pick this up in my guard, and strike toward the face that way. So I go offline here, and then my return line would actually be above that. So give me a little bit of a swing on this angle. There, okay, come on, back up, back up, back up. Okay. Give me that angle here. Good, right here. Bang, and back. Good. Okay, right here. Okay. Nope, arms out of the way. Swing. Okay, so that's now moving in. Now give me a number 2. Right here. So this way. So now if I do the backhand, I move it that way and in. Arms out of the way. Not a second. Okay, swing off that back. And back in. Obviously a lot easier on a 7-year-old than it will be on an adult. Okay, thank you. Hope does that make sense? Kind of, sort of. After one, why not a thrust instead of the force and point? So I will do that. Actually, it's a great point, and actually it comes up in a lot of combinations. And honestly, one of the reasons here is just to give an illustration on returning off the opposite lines. I will absolutely. So so the question was, why not, instead of going 1 here, 4, is why not come to here? And you absolutely will. Honestly, that's essentially a different lesson. It's just a slightly different technique. There's nothing wrong with that example. So good question. Early footwork name is called earlier footwork. Harada, is that the one, Pat? This squaring footwork, this one here, is that the one you're looking for? Okay, so that is a term probably not common to all the PD lineages. So Harada, H-I-R-A-D-A. Right off now, I can't remember what the translation for that is. But again, it's that circling footwork. And I'm not sure that it's common to, again, other PD lineages besides the one we have. It might be, and it might have changed since I first learned it. So, any other questions? Okay, so I'm not seeing any more questions. Thanks all. I'm going to try to do this again probably next week. I think that worked out pretty well. Maybe without the kids next time, who knows? But yeah, I think this worked out really well. If you liked it, try to tune in next. If we could, Wednesdays are one of our normal class nights, so I'll probably make that it's a recurring thing. I hope you found this as useful. If you found any things to work on, that would be awesome. Or particular topics you wanted to go over, we can address those as well. Great. Thanks all. I will see you next week. End stream. If I can figure out where my... Wow.
I do not have to